We come to the last unit. The last unit, the fourth unit, has been titled Hallmark of A plus institutions and your contribution. Now, what exactly do I mean by your contribution? I will explain it a little later, but I would anticipate the answer here. Your contribution would be, as an individual, what would be your contribution to your own institution when it comes to NAAC assessment and accreditation? So this is what I would like to talk about in the second part of the fourth unit. In the first part of the fourth unit, I would like to talk of what is special about A plus and A plus plus institutions. What do they have? What do they possess? The hallmark of A plus or A plus plus institutions. Now the question is, what do the best institutions possess? The best means institutions which have in NAAC assessment and accreditation scored A plus, which is 3.26 to 3.5, and A plus plus, which is above 3.51 and above. In other words, the best institutions in the country, the best colleges, the best universities, what is it that they have and what is it that other institutions do not have in order to earn this A plus or A plus plus. I would like to focus on 12 points. So the first one, diversity and inclusivity in terms of both students and faculty. Now you take an average college or an average university. At college, who are the students? Students drawn mostly from the neighborhood, in and around, maybe a radius of, let us say, 20 kilometers or 40 kilometers or 50 kilometers, certainly not beyond 100 kilometers. Certainly, they do not have students from other states and other countries. Whereas you go to Hyderabad Central University, or you take KNU, or you take the Delhi University, or you take a college like Loyola College, Chennai, or you take St. Xavier's College, Calcutta. Look at the diversity. They have students from practically all parts of the country. And if it is a Hyderabad Central University or an English and Foreign Languages University, if Hyderabad or Bombay University, they have even students from outside the country. Okay, so this is one of the hallmarks of great institutions. Diversity, not only with reference to students, but also faculty. And in a good institution, in an institution which has got A plus or A plus plus, all the staff members hold PhD degrees. Whereas you go to an average college, the percentage would be something like 30 to 40. So 40% have completed their PhD programs, and maybe another 15 to 20 have enrolled themselves in a PhD program, and the rest, they are only contemplating of thinking of doing a PhD program. Whereas in a good university, in a good institution, all the staff members, including the guest faculty, including the ad hoc faculty, they are PhD holders. And not only that, some of them go beyond PhD and they have done postdoc, and they are recipients of international awards like a Fulbright Award or a Commonwealth Fellowship or an Indo-Shastri Canadian Fellowship or a Max Planck Award or a Humboldt Award. Okay, so in other words, the teacher profile and quality in the case of A plus and A plus plus institutions is impressive and remarkable. Then when it comes to infrastructure, once again, the A plus and the A plus plus institutions, the best colleges, the best universities, they have excellent infrastructure. They have impressive infrastructure in terms of, look at the physics lab, look at the chemistry lab, look at the computer lab, look at the life sciences labs, the equipments that they are excellent, they are mind-boggling, and the library also is fantastic. So in this slide, I have given 3 points. Now look at this slide, there are 4 points. Now the curriculum is robust. I made this distinction earlier. In the case of universities and autonomous colleges, they design their own curriculum, whereas in the case of affiliated colleges and constituent colleges, it is the parent university that designs the curriculum, and the curriculum is given to them for implementation. Now, in a good institution, A plus or an A plus plus, look at the curriculum. The curriculum is on par with some of the best institutions in the world. You can compare the curriculum of, let us say, Delhi University or JNU or Hyderabad Central University or Pondicherry Central University with some of the best institutions in the world. So the curriculum is robust. And what do we mean by robust? It infuses students with critical thinking, scientific temper, and entrepreneurial skills. Now, when we come to teaching pedagogy or teaching methodology, it is vibrant. There is a lot of online teaching, online learning, MOOCs, NPTEL, blended learning, webinars, and when it comes to students' internship and placement, they go to some of the prestigious institutions like the IITs, the NITs, the ISers for their internship. In fact, I know some students from some of the premier institutions, they even go abroad for internship. Then students are endowed with different kinds of competencies. In other words, they excel in co-curricular activities. They also excel in, not only do they excel in curricular activities, they also excel in co-curricular and extracurricular activities. In other words, these institutions, they aim at developing the entire person, not just the intellectual component, the intellectual, the emotional, the spiritual. In other words, an integral or a holistic development of students. And look at the students. A large number of students have cleared national tests like NET, SET, JRF, GATE, CAT, Inspire. So the number is huge. Then the next point is an important point because the SSR of some of the best institutions in the country, they are available on NAAC website. So you please, at least out of curiosity, please look into the SSRs of some of the best institutions because you should know what is it that these colleges and universities have and what is it that I can learn from these institutions. Now, this is an important point. They are strong in terms of social commitment. Look at their extension activities. Look at their outreach activities. Is simply remarkable. In other words, not only do they excel in academics, they also excel when it comes to reaching out to villages and the marginalized group. So they are strong, very strong in terms of extension and outreach activities. And when it comes to governance, it is decentralized and participative governance. And they have a lot of MOUs, not only with national players, but also with international players. And they offer a value-based education. Earlier, I said they offer holistic education, which is value-based. Okay, of course, there are other points, but I would like to focus on these 12 points. So the question is, what is special about A plus and A plus plus institutions? What are the qualities? What are the attributes that they possess? I have listed some 12 important attributes of these great institutions. So dear friends, now let me come to the last part of my presentation. Now, I guess 80 to 90% of those who are attending this TLC organized by Ramanujan College, Delhi, I think most of you are in the age group of 30 and maybe early 40. So which means you're relatively young. Okay. And maybe in 10 years time, in 15 years time, in 20 years from now, I am sure some of you will be heading the internal quality assurance cell of your own college, your own university, and maybe you would be writing the SSR. In other words, what should be your contribution to your own college, to your own university in terms of NAAC assessment? Because every individual's contribution counts. Okay, so you can enhance the grade of your college or university, or because of you, because of your mediocrity, because of your poor performance, the grade of the entire institution may be pulled down. So it is up to you. So the question is, how can you contribute to your own college, to your own university when it comes to NAAC assessment and accreditation? So the first one is enhance and strengthen your profile. If you already have a PhD, very good. Think of a postdoc. If you do not have a PhD, enroll for a PhD program at the earliest. So you have to enhance your profile, by way of acquiring a PhD degree, taking up a postdoc position, and publishing in journals which are refereed journals, which are indexed journals, journals with a high impact factor, and also undertaking minor and major research projects for various agencies like UGC, DST, ICSSR, ICHR, ICPR. Okay, so when you enhance your profile, who benefits? Obviously, you benefit, but the institution also benefits. Now, attend FTPs, okay, Faculty Development Program. Now, this TLC of Ramanujan College, they are doing exceedingly well. In this regard, they are organizing a lot of FTPs through the Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Center. So, attend a lot of FTPs. A few programs are obligatory. For instance, from an assistant professor to an associate professor, you need to have attended one or two orientation programs and one or two refresher courses. So this is mandatory, this is obligatory. So do it, but don't stop with it. Okay, so enroll in a lot of FDPs and webinars, not with a view to acquiring certificates, but with a view to enhancing your knowledge. And third one, try out innovative methods of teaching and assessment. Okay, this is important. And use technology in teaching. Now, if you remember in my unit 1, when I was talking about the vision and mission of NAAC, particularly the mission of NAAC, NAAC makes it very clear that they believe in technology. They want teachers of colleges and universities to be conversant with technology, to be proficient in technology. Now, all institutions have this ERP when it comes to admission, when it comes to assessment, when it comes to using of the library, when it comes to entering the marks. Everything is ERP, everything is automated. So you should be conversant, you should be familiar with technology. If you're already familiar with technology, good, strengthen your knowledge. But if you're not familiar with technology and you have a long way to go, so please become familiar with technology. Try to embrace technology as early as possible and get involved in extension activities of your own department. Maybe you're from the physics department, maybe you're from the English department, maybe you're from the commerce department. So your own students, okay, so get involved in the extension activities of your own department and also the college as such or the university as such, and see to it that the extension activities are general in the sense like tree planting, sapling planting, blood donation, cleaning up a tank. So these are general activities. In addition to that, there are some subject oriented or discipline specific activities. So if you're from the Department of English, take your students to a nearby rural school or a slum school or a government school. Let your students teach their students some spoken English or some writing skills. So this is what I mean by discipline specific extension programs, and organize bridge courses, particularly for the entrance, and organize student seminars and organize co-curricular and extracurricular activities for your own department and for other departments as well. In other words, you should get involved in a lot of work, a lot of activities. You should volunteer. You should tell your own head of the department, sir, may I organize this program? May I conduct this debate? May I organize this quiz program? Shall I take the students to the school for some extension activity? So you should be organizing a lot of co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Then get involved in students' placement, especially by training them. Train them in soft skills, train them how to face an interview board, conduct some mock interviews for them, then volunteer to serve in committees. Okay, so very often we don't get the senior people to serve in committees, they don't volunteer. Okay, so as youngsters, you should volunteer to serve in committees. And lastly, whatever you do, even if something small, even if something minuscule, what you should do is you should document it meticulously. On this particular day, I went to this college and I gave a talk for 60 minutes. And this is the proof of my participation. So collect the certificate. So whatever you do, you document. So, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of the fourth unit, and that also marks the end of the presentation. So this presentation was titled NAAC Assessment and Accreditation. It consisted of 4 units. In the first unit, I talked about what is assessment, and I also talked of the national players and the international players. And in the second unit, I talked about the framework that NAAC adopts to assess and accredit institutions. It is here that I talked about the 7 criteria. I talked about the key indicators, and I also talked about the metrics, both qualitative and quantitative. Then in the third unit, I talked about NAAC methodology, the process of assessment and accreditation. I drew your attention to key terms like IAQA, SSR, DVV, and SSS. And in the last unit, I talked about the qualities or the attributes of the best colleges and the best universities in India. And towards the end, I also talked about how you as an individual, as a young individual, can contribute to your own institution in terms of NAAC assessment and accreditation. Thank you, dear friends.